Oh, I love this bit.
Yes! I am invincible!
Oh, no, you're not, bitch. Sometimes when you have a catchphrase and people want you to do things from an old film or play or something, it can be annoying. But I actually love when people want me to say I am invincible. I'll say it now. I am invincible. Hello, I'm Alan Cumming, and we're going to be looking at a selection of scenes from things I've been in my very long and illustrious career.
Welcome to the party, my dear.
GoldenEye.
Natalia.
Oh, there's me, obviously. Oh, look at that. Comedy fight acting. I use that a lot in my future career. There hadn't been a James Bond for years. They'd had a lull. It was like a reboot of the whole franchise. The women were kind of more empowered, you know, and I was called a Bond boy because they used to always say the women were Bond girls in a very sort of disposable sort of manner. Judi Dench was M now, and so she was a woman, obviously. That was a big deal. And the whole thing was sort of, can James Bond exist in this new post-feminist world we find ourselves in? So yeah, it was a lot of pressure, and imagine a lot of pressure for Pierce. And this was the first sort of major, big blockbuster film that I'd ever worked on. That fucking pen. So I remember I got the script and I remember thinking, oh, the pen thing, that's kind of complicated. And I tried to do it, I practiced, could not get the hang of it. And I remember saying to my friend Dixie, I said, you know, will you look at the script and see, I could do something else, couldn't I? I could do something else instead. And she read it, she went, Alan, it is the crux of the entire plot of the movie. You have to learn how to do this. And so I got my friend Jason Isaac. He used to be a magician. Like, he would subsidize himself by doing kids' magic parties. I got him to help me learn it. So I was like, boom, nailed this. And then when I came to do it, they had the special, you know, Parker James Bond's pen that I had to use, which was not like a pen like that, all the same thing all the way along. It came down like this to a sort of, you know, little point, which totally screwed up my form. And so I blew it. I had it, and then I thought I was going to have a heart attack. The entire crew of like 7,000 people. And so basically I had to learn on the spot how to do it again with a different pen. And I did it.
What the hell's happening?
We'll have re-entry in 12 minutes.
It will burn up somewhere over the Atlantic.
Deal with it.
She changed the access codes.
Then she can fix it.
They gave me a dialect coach, this man, big tall man with a beard, and he lived on a canal boat in the Docklands in London. So I used to drive I had a Citroen 2CV at the time, very sort of not James Bondy, and I would drive my little car to this canal boat and sit in this freezing boat with this man and try to learn how to speak in a Russian accent. I feel a bit disingenuous because people are like, for years I thought you were American, I'm on The Good Wife or something like that. It's not that big a deal. You know, everyone does accents. I mean, I think everyone in Scotland, for instance, can do a passable American accent. Because the thing everyone forgets here is that we are bombarded by American culture. It's not the same way the other way around. Like, we occasionally get Downton Abbey or something, but you know. So people are much more au fait with the accent. And that's also why American actors aren't as good at doing English accents as they think they are.
Give me the cards, Natalia! Give them to me!
Carnage. Oh my God. Overacting. Oh, I love this bit.
Yes! I am invincible!
Oh, no, you're not, bitch. Okay, these big gallons of big things of computer coolant explode and come on top of me and freeze me to death. Just another day at the office. But what they did was they had sort of a rubber band around my waist that was tying me, so if I couldn't, so when the force of it came, I wouldn't fall down or something. So I would just be all basically in the same position as all this stuff came on top of me. So what happened was they chucked the big thing of dry ice out, but it was lumps of dry ice, which then stuck to my head and burned my scalp. And I couldn't move because I had this rubber band around my waist. So I'm there going like, this is her, ow, ow. And they realized something was wrong. And then these firemen came on and started squishing my head with all the, whatever that is. It was a nightmare. That's a fake model of me. So it's me, and then when the smoke clears, it's a model. And so basically I had to go and get like a body cast done, and they sort of pinned me to a cross. It's very biblical. Like a sort of cross thing, I was tied to it. And then these very attractive gentlemen sort of smeared my body with hot water and gooey bandage and hands all over my body. Someone's got to do it. It's not an attractive look, as you can see there. And at the end of the shoot, they said, would you like to keep this mannequin of yourself, Alan? I went, no, I don't want to, thank you. I don't want to kind of have that in my house. But I wish I had, because for years, there was this traveling James Bond exhibition. And one of the things in it was that fucking model of me there. And so people would be I was in Bangkok. And I saw this really weird life-size model of you. I thought, it's still going around the world. So if I had only kept it and put it in the, a dumpster, I would have been saved future embarrassment.
Hey everybody! Sandy Frank just landed in a helicopter!
I love that bit. I love Cameron Manheim. She's such a darling.
Sandy Frank has a helicopter?
Yeah, apparently he's worth like millions. He invented some kind of special rubber or something.
Like for condoms?
This is the first film I ever made in America. I thought Tucson was pronounced Tucson. And when at the read-through someone said it, I laughed, thinking they'd got it wrong, and I was, such a brat. Look at those shoes. Here he comes, everybody. Oh, I think this now is in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, because we shot some of the reunion in the Ambassador Hotel, which is the place where Robert Kennedy got shot. Anyway, here I am.
That's Sandy Frank?
Yeah, bitch. Right?
You look so rich. I mean, great.
He sees her. Oh, look. Gosh, I started to have grey hair already. I didn't realise that.
So you must be like the most successful person in our entire graduating class.
If to you, success means having a house in Aspen, one in Acapulco.
This was so difficult to say. There's this list of things that he's got. There was more, actually.
Will you dance with me?
Only if Romy can dance with us.
Sure.
Look at that boy giving us the eye in the background. We got nominated for an MTV Movie Award Best Dance Sequence for this. We were robbed. This was one of the first scripts I read when I came to Hollywood. And I just remember thinking, I've got to be in this film. And one of the reasons why was because there's of this, and it's just a paragraph in the script, Romy and Michele and Sandy do an interpretive modern dance or something. That's all it said. People reenact this at their weddings. People are always saying to me, would you come to my wedding and do the Romy and Michele dance with me and my husband or me and my wife? And I'm like, no, I won't. But it's this sort of iconic thing, and it is hilarious. And also completely bonkers to be in the middle of this sort of, it's like a sort of witty, like a rom-com-y sort of film, to have a sort of dance sequence. And I loved it for that. Mira had been a ballet dancer or something when she was little, so she kind of was, doing a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of spinning and stuff. I mean, my sort of thing was that I'm so in love with Lisa, it's all about, but it was nuts. It was a completely nuts thing to do. Look at that little Scottish country dancing. Oh, this is scary. I could have face planted there. I mean, there's a great deal of trust involved in a situation like that when you let go and go face forward. I think Lisa Kudrow is a genius. I really do. Just comedically, timing-wise, I just think she's just a darling of a person. And I'm very excited because we're going to do Mira and Lisa and everyone. The band is getting back together. I think we're shooting this summer the sequel to Romy and Michele's High School Reunion. This is one of these things that it's so weird. And I love that it's struck a chord with everybody. I really love, actually, this is one of the films that I'm in that's sort of iconic.
Excuse me. Hi. How can I help you? Can you please ring Mr. Nightingale's room for me? Nick Nightingale. I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Nightingale has already checked out. You checked out? Yes.
None of this was filmed in New York because Stanley had a fear of flying, and so he never flew anywhere, Stanley Kubrick. This was shot at Pinewood. And actually, when I was shooting this, they were shooting the next James Bond film after GoldenEye. And there was at one point where they were doing, it was next to the James Bond stage, and it was my close-up. And they were making a lot of noise, and Stanley sent someone to go and ask them to stop doing explosions because they were doing my close-up. I was like, how times have changed.
Did you notice anything, I don't know, unusual about him when he left?
Unusual? Hey, you're not 5-0, are you?
No.
I didn't know what 5-0 was. Then I
No,
realized
no,
Hawaii
friend.
5-0. That's what made me realize.
I'm a doctor.
Well,
Leering.
Bill?
Sure.
If anyone came on to me like I'm coming on to him, I would be like, I'd run a mile. And Tom just stands there, implacable. We both fell about laughing at the end of each take. It's interesting that at the time, there was all these crazy rumors that, you know, people weren't allowed to look him in the eye, and he would have a tunnel to take him from his trailer to the set, and that he was gay, and all. There was all these weird sort of myths that go around really famous people and their behavior. He was absolutely charming, completely charming. I have a pretty good gaydar. I didn't get anything like that from him. And if he was a bit gay, so what? We're all a bit gay.
Well... He came in this morning about 4:30 a.m. with 2 men. Big guys. I mean, they were very well dressed and very well spoken, but they weren't the kind of people you'd like to fool around with, if you know what I mean.
This is one of the most outrageous performances I've ever given. That's me saying that. I was the one saying to Stanley Kubrick, "Oh, that's too much, Stanley. I should dial it down." He's like, "No, go on, Alan, go for it." So I was schooled in camp by Stanley Kubrick. Not something that you might imagine. I took something from the theatre that Stanley then reinforced for me. And it's been a big mantra for me in my life. As an actor, and when I was very young in theatre, said you can be as big as you like as long as you mean it. And that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing a huge performance here. I mean, it's so ridiculous. But Stanley encouraged me to keep going with it and keep going more. But if it comes from a place of truth, then you can be as big as you like. Then I didn't think those two things were, I thought, you know, that was what you did in the theatre. And film was a different thing. You had to bring everything down. And now I clearly do not adhere to that.
Do you have any idea where they went?
No, not a clue.
Well. Anyway, I certainly appreciate your help.
Oh, anytime, Bill.
This is, well, I don't even know, a 4 minute scene, if that. And it's two people talking across a counter. So you would normally have a wide shot, you might have then a mid shot, and you'd have 2 close-ups. Even on a big film, this would be 1 day max. And this took a week to shoot. We did, however, shoot this for about two days, and Stanley decided to scrap it and start again and shoot it in a different way. It was millions and millions and millions of takes. Often on films or stuff, you'll finish it, they go cut, and you'll hear the director going, "Perfect, 1 more." You think, well, if it was perfect, why the fuck are we doing 1 more? With Stanley, every single time I did another take, I went to the monitor with him, and he looked through it, and he showed me in a little detail to change, a little intonation, even a little facial movement. I knew exactly why I was going to do it again and what we're aiming for. And so that made me excited about doing it again. I loved making this film. It truly made me excited about being an actor in film again. Because, there are no small parts, just small actors.
"15 minutes to escape. With your reputations, I was expecting something a little more impressive."
It's got Willy Wonka overtones, and before this, Robert just made sort of those westerns and things, and was kind of, and sort of, this was a big departure stylistically for him. And I was just really excited. I love when someone does that, when they kind of, go left field. I mean, I guess I do it all the time. It's sort of exciting to be doing something new with someone. And it's a really good film. The other night, I ran into Selena Gomez and I sort of went, hello, and how do you do? I went, oh wait, we've been in a film together. Because she was in Spy Kids 3 as a wee girl. And she's so cute. She goes, I wondered if you'd remember. But it's so changed how people approach me. If you were a child in 2001, you're an adult. And when I remember exactly the moment when young people, young adults, changed their reaction to me when they saw me in public. Because it went from being like, oh, famous guy, to, Mr. Floop, you're a part of my childhood. And it's continued. I love the idea that I have been a part of people, a magical part of people's childhood. It's such a lovely thing. See, I have dishes like that. Oh, I don't have stuff like that. So I got a sofa from the set for Mr. Floop's, and it's in my house in the Catskills. A funny purple sofa, and it has a curly bit like this. And whenever I see clips of Spy Kids, I'm always looking for my sofa in the background. The interesting thing about Mr. Floop, a sentence I never thought I'd be saying when I woke up this morning. The truth of Floop is that he really just wants to, have a nice time and make lovely art and do his TV show and have fun. A bit like me in my life, actually. I just want to have fun and do fun things. But he kind of gets, and also a bit like me, sometimes his fun and his charm gets used in more mercenary ways.
Your children will be joining us soon. Careful!
Antonio.
I snap my fingers.
Oh yes, the little thumb people.
My fingers snap you.
They were just all these men with green dots on their faces, of course. I quite like doing that sort of green screen stuff because you do just have to imagine it. I mean, sometimes it's boring. A few years before that, I did the Flintstones film, and I was the Great Gazoo, and I had to be suspended way, way up high. I don't know why. Why was I so high? Anyway, and I had paper plates that said Fred number 1, Barney number 2. Like, I'd look at them, and then they twisted me around. That was arduous. In between takes, they would put me in. I had these bars out of my my waist, and they'd sort of prop me on 2 lighting stands. And I'd sort of, rock back and forward. And outside the studio in Hollywood, they said, Alan, Jennifer Lopez is in the next studio making a pop video. Do you want to meet her? I was like, no, not like this. Sometimes I even I'd rather look at a paper plate than another actor, to be honest, sometimes. A casual look. Welcome to the round table. Constant beating heart of my castle. So what do you want to be? Faithful or a traitor? Of course. Oh my God, look at the length of that sporran. It's like almost hitting the floor between my legs. I think of it completely as a character that I have created. I mean, I just made this person up. And then, people help me write things for him, and I quote all these lines, but I basically made up the whole thing. It is like immersive theatre because actually, in between takes and things, I don't chat to the contestants. I stay in character. Even when I arrive in the mornings, I try and go in a different door in case with my dog, I would sometimes see them and we'd chat a wee bit. After they get booted out or murdered, I sometimes see them in the backstage bits when they come to do their interviews and things, and I have a wee chat with them then, and it's sort of, but I really maintain my character, not because I'm that, I don't do that in real life on films. I'm you can call me Alan and I will not speak in the accent that I'm acting in, but for the purposes of this, it's really important for me to have authority, be sort of stern castle daddy. And also the other challenge is that it's partly improvised. I have a little thing in my ear that I hear from the control room from this lovely man called Sam Rhys-Jones, who's literally the voice inside my head. And I have to sort of sometimes say things as he's saying things, but also think of funny things, think of stuff to tell them whilst other stuff's going on in my ear. So that's a new skill that I had to learn. I actually love the fact that people have so connected with the idea of what he wears, how sort of nuts those outfits are, and Sam Spector, who's the stylist, we've really gelled and gone on this nutty journey with this man with all this insane things he wears. So it's kind of a pressure, I think, as the series go by to keep upping the ante.
Of course I want to be a traitor. Do I have to beg? What do you want me to do?
Don't beg.
Your Majesty, Your Highness,
Please make me a traitor.
I want my destiny in my own hands. If you're a faithful, you're a sitting duck. I don't want to be the duck. I want to shoot the duck.
I actually really love doing this. It's sort of one of these things I never thought would happen in my life. When you stand back from it, it just doesn't make any sense. Interestingly, as I've got older, I've done a lot more things on my own, like, you know, an almost solo version of Macbeth. I've written a lot more. I did a solo dance theatre piece, things like that. And this, in a way, although there's thousands of people around me, it's sort of like a solo performance because I am on my own acting in this sort of weird, immersive world.
If you feel my hand upon your shoulder, you are a traitor.
Right, so this is the most terrifying part of the entire month of filming because if I do it wrong and they get wind of who I've picked, it will fuck up the entire show. At the start, there's so many of them. There's like 21 of them around this table, so they're all squashed together. So it's really hard to get your hand in. They're also really primed because, you know, when you've been blindfolded, they are blindfolded for a long time because I go round and round and round. I go like this with my jacket so they think it's my hand going forward. I do all sorts of tricks and stop and start. And we have some idea who we think would be good traitors. I talked to Sam and the other producers. So when I come into this room to do it, I know already. So far, it's all gone pretty well. I guess that's an analogy for life as well. Well, thank you very much for watching. This has been fun and illuminating.